Well, a very good morning to you. If you've just joined us here on SABC News, we're live to you from Thohoyandou in the Limpopo province, and that is, of course, this is where the commemoration of 2026 Armed Forces Day is taking place. These are live pictures, and in fact, an announcement just a few moments ago that the parade has been delayed by an hour. And what you're seeing on your screen currently is the flag company, the Guard of Honor, and the military band that has been deployed. We understand that the parade has been delayed by an hour, so we're expecting proceedings to get underway a little bit much later than was expected. But of course today, on this commemoration of Armed Forces Day, we look back to 1917 at the sinking of the SS Mendi. The SS Mendi, with the part of the deployment on there being the South African Native Labour Corps, also perishing in that particular sinking of the SS Mendi. And of course, part of today's proceedings, inclusive of a wreath-laying ceremony by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and that is President Cyril Ramaphosa. But I'm not alone this morning. I'm joined by the captain of the SA Navy, Theo Mabine, who's going to join us for some of our commentary here this morning. A very good morning to you, Captain. Thanks indeed for your time. We do appreciate it. What we'd just seen was the flag company, the Guard of Honor, and the military band deployment.
Good morning to you, Criselda, and your viewers. Yes, it's a very good morning, a bit hot, even though it's a bit cloudy. Yes. So as you can see now, as you have had an announcement that the parade will be delayed with about an hour or so. So the people that had been here, it is your flag company. As you can see, they're lining up on the street there, carrying different flags, that of South Africa as a country, that of the Army, then Air Force and the Navy, and then also the Guard of Honor as they're marching off, and a part of the military band as well, because ceremonially we always have particular music, and then or the band actually being an integral part of our ceremonies.
And of course, all of that precedes what would then be the arrival of the President or the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. There'll be a national salute, present arms, the national anthem, of course the 21-round gun salute, and then the salute flight. Talk us through that order of proceedings. I think we're going to have a lot of talking to do with the bit of the delay that we're expecting in proceedings this morning. So talk us through the importance of each of these phases at a ceremony or at a commemoration of this nature.
Yes, definitely we are going to have much time actually where we are going to talk. As you rightfully say, there is a military culture in which you pay respect. So a lot of these ceremonial aspects, they mean exactly that. So that it's just a way that how as a military would be expressing our respect or bestowing honor, especially to our principals, in this instance where it will be the Commander-in-Chief. So the people that we spoke about, the flag company, the band, and the Guard of Honor, so this is more like your precursor as they're part of the parade, signaling that the only thing that we are waiting for then it would be the arrival of the officiating, which is the Commander-in-Chief. And then that time when he comes, then it invokes those proper marks of respect or those expression in a military way where we bestow honor, which they include the salute past or the present arms. That would be done by the Guard of Honor. They would on command as well. And then you will have the singing of the national anthem as pride to our nation as well. And then you would also have 21 gun salute. So the gun salute as well, it's also a way of bestowing honor. So the number it will also correspond with the highest office. So the highest number in our context will be 21, which is accorded to the president. Then the minister will get 19, and the further as we go down, also the chief of services getting 17 and 15, depending on the rank level as well. So you'll also, depending on the weather as well, for visibility, you would have a salute pass. So this will be some of the aircrafts from the South African Air Force, which will just fly past as a form of salute. So all those things, they constitute what we call our expression of actually bestowing honor or, just giving respect in our military culture. That's how we would be doing it.
And if we look at the significance of this day, I guess no better person to speak to than yourself. If we talk about, way back then in 1917, the sinking of the SS Mendi, that is what this commemoration is about here today. Talk to us about the significance of that. And the commemoration itself, if we look at, those that had fallen then, and what it means for, the Navy, or the armed forces themselves in present day, a democracy.
And you're right, Griselda. It's precisely that. This event, it's actually multi-prone. And one of the elements is there's a huge part of commemoration, which then speaks to people that have, given their life, they've paid the ultimate price in service to others, sacrificially so. So where they've lost their lives in service of others. And then, because this is why the 21st, because when it started, it was not necessarily on the 21st. It was only declared, I think, in 2013 or so that it could coincide. So the significance then would be to draw on the courage that was actually displayed by this men as well, so that the spirit lives on. So this is what we are drawing and saying as well. So together with that, every single person that has actually paid the ultimate price in service of others, and now of more recent, including our ones. So then we get to do that. So that is why part of that in the morning you would have what we call a reef laying ceremony, exactly to signify that. So this is a very big element where we say we are commemorating, we are remembering, because it's important as you go forward that you also remember where you come from. And then just to draw on the inspiration and say, these people have paid the ultimate price. And, if duty calls, that's what all us wearing uniform we're actually willing to do. So it's quite an inspiration. That's why the significance, and says in the face of whatever that you are faced with, but you still remember that your life is just worth more, that you can actually face eventuality and be able to lay down in service and sacrifice of others.
And for our viewers that have just joined us, we're live from Thohoyandou in the Limpopo province. So this is where the 2026 commemoration of Armed Forces Day is taking place. And in case you have not heard, we have about an hour delay in terms of the parade, which means then we'll have that parade which will take place. And then only after will we have the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Will we have that, if I may put it, the band company, the Guard of Honor and the military band deployed once again?
Yes, so when we're about to commence again with the parade, the sequence will happen again. So the flag company is still here, then it means the Guard of Honor, because it's from National Ceremonial Guard. So a Guard of Honor is also an expression of respect to the president, because they are there for that. So they will come back with the band as well. So that will be signifying or signaling that we are about to commence again. Then we would wait for the arrival of the Commander-in-Chief. Once he takes the podium, everything else that we spoke to, the fly past, national salute, and then that would happen.
All right, the 2026 commemoration of Armed Forces Day, live from Thohoyandou here in the Limpopo province. And a bit earlier on, you would have seen this. These are, of course, visuals which are currently live to you from where we are. We're also expecting I fly past, and I understand that is it one Gripen, and I think about 5 Hawks.
It might be.
It might be 3.
Yeah.
I think I heard about that. I heard 5 earlier from one of the air commanders, and it seems like we've gone down to 3. I don't know if that's got anything to do with the weather, but perhaps that will be part of what today's commemoration will be.
Yes, definitely. I think the weather plays a very critical or
Yes.
integral part as far as the Air Force is concerned, visibility and all that as well, because the clouds, if are low, there's visibility. So what's happening now, Griselda, like the parade is moved back with an hour, so the flag company in the military way, so they are going back to their original place so that then they will come back. So you can see now it's different arms of services. So that's where the army is coming in again. So they're going back to the original place, and then we are gonna see them actually march up again. So when we're about to commence with the parade again.
All right, we do understand that the official program or the parade itself will commence at 11 o'clock. All right, that's the official word that we're getting at this stage. There was an announcement earlier that the program will start an hour late. So, of course, this program now at 11 o'clock, that is going to get underway. And perhaps, Captain, you could bring us a bit more into the significance also of I mean, it speaks for itself. Wreath laying is to remember, is to commemorate. But the proceedings or the commemoration would not be complete without, I guess, saluting those who have fallen. Where those plagues are signifies something incredibly deep if we look at the history of what we're commemorating here today.
Like I said, definitely, and this is why it's so important, especially with us, because a lot of our ceremonies they actually speak to that as well. So there has to be some sort of an expression, especially when you're honoring or you're actually commemorating the people that have fallen. And so the military, where we can, giving salute and laying the wreath as well. And it is exactly precisely that then we say, us as the South African National Defence Force, here is our expression, that translates into that in as far as our culture is concerned. So that's exactly what we're doing. So it's very, very, very important. It's very, very important for us to be able to do that.
And if we look at, you spoke about, the different flags that we saw. You had walked us through a bit earlier on, and unfortunately we had not been on air at the time. So there were flags. The one half of the flags had, is it the symbol of the SANDF? You would correct me if I'm wrong there. And then on the other side, if you're able to explain to us exactly.
I think if you can look at the design, hopefully when they come back, we'll be able to have those visuals. So what happens is those flags, what they signify, the most senior flag would be the South African flag. So it's a sign where we pledge our allegiance to. So then the rest of that, it is the flag that then represents the entire SANDF, and then it actually represents the different, arms of services. So you will see that in a flag, there will be what we call, there will be some sort of a national flag, and then to it as well, there will be an emblem belonging to that particular service. So there'll be an emblem that represents us as a SANDF. Then there'll be an emblem representing the South African Army. That's when you will see those flags belonging to the Army. Then the similar thing again, you'll have the South African flag, and then you have a symbol that is actually, that you can ascribe to the South African Air Force. Then you will have a symbol that you can also ascribe to the South African Navy. And then you will also have another flag in which with the South African flag, and then the symbol that you can actually ascribe to the South African Military Health Services. In a nutshell, this also speaks to jointness as we are, because the South African National Defence Force, it is in a nutshell made up of 4 services, which is the South African Army, responsible for the landward defence, and then you would have the South African Air Force, which then is responsible for the airspace, the defense there. Then you'll have the South African Navy, which is responsible for the maritime defense of our country. Then you will have our South African Military Health Services. So the day throughout, as you see the ceremonies and the parade happening, you are going to see these different arms of service actually being able to display that. So you will see as they march, you will see somewhere you'll be able to see a difference in uniform, which will also speak to that, because there are 4 services, is distinct, but when we come together, then we form the entirety or the whole, which we call it South African National Defence Force. So we are all about that. So hopefully as things unfold today and we get to have a discussion, more and more will visibly see the difference. And then in terms of equipment as well, which will be also displayed, you will see as the parade continues, and then you'll be able to see that. So we'll speak to the different parts that actually make up the South African National Defence Force. So it's very important, and then that will be clear, because we are unique, we are different, and then we make the South African National Defence Force as a whole. And also what is important in as far as the Armed Forces Day is concerned, it's an element where that allow us to have a platform where our public can actually be able to interact with us. So as I was saying, Criselda, you're going to see the different elements of the South African National Defence Force, different colors, different uniforms in some instances, and different equipment. So we are looking forward just to be taking you through that.
All right. I know that's a bit of a mouthful, Captain. You don't get to speak that much. But if you've just joined us, you're live from Thohoyandou, and this is where the 2026 commemoration of Armed Forces Day is taking place. We've got this delay, of course, for about an hour now, and we'll try to line up for you some individuals who we'll be speaking to, including very shortly the Lieutenant General, retired military ombudsman, who is Zusumuzi Masondo. We'll be speaking to him in just about a moment. If you could stay with us here on SABC News. Slight delay to the program, but of course we will get things underway once the official program gets underway. But we'll certainly try to bring in as many people as possible who we might be able to speak to